I absolutely believe this is true, that I'm sure other countries fund similar things, but also it was in reaction to some of the ICE raids, right? I mean, it was a visceral reaction that a lot of people had, the idea of people just showing up and pulling people out of schools and pulling people out of Home Depot and pulling people that were just hardworking people that maybe snuck over here because they didn't have a legal way to get over here. But since they've been here, they've been good people and they're a part of communities. And that's what freaks people out, because when people thought about ICE, they thought, great, we're going to get rid of the gang members. They didn't think, great, you're going to get rid of a landscaper.
But the question is, why didn't they do it then why did these riots and why did this disagreement not happen under
I don't disagree with you. I think
Obama-Biden?
Listen, I'm sure some of these riots absolutely are manufactured. I'm sure they are. I'm sure these pallets of bricks that get left off on corners when they know that there's going to be
that
a
was
BLM
crazy.
riot,
Yeah.
that's bananas.
They fundraise. But to your point, so how do you fix something like the immigration system as a whole, right? So
you definitely don't have an open border. That's crazy.
Correct.
Because you need to know if people are criminals that are coming in. You don't want cartel members coming in. You don't want murderers coming in and serial killers. Like there's a reason why we have borders.
Yeah.
All the above, right? There's a reason why we have borders. But the thing that freaks people out is like, how many corporations rely on illegal labor?
Oh,
how many
Chicken Farm's one of them.
Yeah.
Last year, I was putting out some messaging on them because I'd watched this documentary about the slaughterhouses, how they're actually using migrant children, like 14, 15, in some of these slaughterhouses. And the lobbyist from Tyson Chicken Corporation contacted my chief of staff at the time and was like trying to basically say like, hey, like basically back off. But like, I don't care. Like, it's wrong. Like, I don't care where you're on the spectrum. You shouldn't allow migrant labor with children specifically because it's child slave labor.
I'll tell you a story that a high-level government official told me.
Okay.
I don't know if he said it on here or not, so I don't want to say his name.
Wait, so he was on here, so then that narrows it.
Fucked up.
Okay, it's okay.
Someone actually said to him that they don't want to stop the illegal immigration because they need cheap labor.
Correct. I actually think that it'll never stop, at least not in Congress.
That they don't have to pay them any benefits. They don't have to take care of their insurance.
Or pay them at all.
Well, they pay them, but they don't have to pay them what they're supposed to pay them.
Well, I've heard cases where people, specifically contractors, will walk on people if they know that they're here illegally. And like, so going back to like, how do you fix this?
Right.
Is one of the top cases that I handle aside from Social Security help and refunds, like within my congressional office. So a congressional office does constituent services, and it's basically like customer service. Like, have you been victimized by the federal government? You know, call this number. That's your congressional office. So specifically on immigration cases, like if you've had an issue with the State Department, visas, all of that, you can contact your local congressman. And so what I will say is that we've had people that have spent like tens of thousands of dollars to come here, but it takes like 20 something years to do. And that's part of the problem is there's been such an influx and such a bog down of the actual system that our actual system is not functioning at the capacity that it should to actually help people come here the correct way.
Well, especially poor people, right? And if you want to immigrate to the United States, the application, one of the things they ask you is, are you an expert in something where people in the United States can't do it?
Like a doctor
or maybe you're a musician and like no one else could sing your songs. Like maybe you could get citizenship from that. But if you're just a landscaper, you're just a guy who lives in a third world country and you want a better life and you say, I heard you can get across and I heard when you get across you can get work. Like, what is that guy going to do? That guy doesn't have the money to hire a lawyer. He's not going to how is he going to prove that he's more valuable than a United States citizen that's already here doing the exact same job?
I do think that unless we are able to assign probably more lawyers, more judges to actually hear these cases, it's going to continue to be a problem. And I have heard, on the floor, these are conversations between members that to a certain extent, especially when you're talking about, like an e-verify system within the ag industry, that actually members of that committee don't want that because they know that the farmers are actually heavily relying on some of these illegals to work in their fields.
And construction crews and fill in the blank.
So I can confirm that.
Yeah.
That's
so
legitimate.
Isn't the solution force people to pay everybody exactly the same way.
Well, yeah, because you don't have the decrease in
Yeah.
wages. However, I think the bigger problem that we have here, though, is that at least specifically in my district, and then also too having argued this, is that this gray area that's been created, in my opinion, they don't want a solution for. They do it intentionally with the understanding that both sides are going to fundraise off of it. In my opinion, if I was to be able to actually fix this, I would say that you have to, I would say, pause, let the system run through, take everyone in, vet them, make sure that they're not criminals, etc. But then the system allows time for it to actually catch up to itself, and then you can continue as is.
What you just said was so scary, that they don't want to resolve it because they want the issue to exist so they could fundraise for it against it.
Yeah.
That's so nuts.